Welcome back to Our Life, Beginnings and Always. I'm about to sneeze, which sucks. Hopefully I don't. Thank you all for being here. We've come a long way through a bunch of kind of semi-boring moments. Like, this is boring, this was kind of annoying, this is kind of just whatever. This was actually less interesting than I thought it was going to be, but Late Shift turned out to be pretty good. Happy just turned out to be pretty good. Boating was okay. Charity was pretty good. Serendipity I hate, but I don't hate the moment, I hate the characters in it. Drive was okay. I mean, it's just kind of a mixed bag in step 3, and then summer ended. You ready? Summer's almost actually over. We have about another week, and then summer ended. We didn't do any of the Baxter stuff, but I didn't want to. Moths bounced against your window, attracted by the light of your room. A siren called in the slowly darkening sky, just as the day was coming to an end. So too would summer. This would be moving back into the dorms before long. Luckily, Lee had been able to come stay for a short trip before her own new journey began. She'd officially been accepted to her first choice college a few weeks ago. This was her last chance to see you all in person for... You flicked through the plans for the next few months, realizing you didn't even know when you'd next have the opportunity for everyone to be in the same place again. It was hard to think that you'd likely be seeing even less of your cousin going forward, but you were delighted that she was pursuing her dreams. While you were still with each other, your family was going to have dinner together. As ever, the Holdens were tagging along too. You were going to the Chinese restaurant. Your destination was that tropical place. Well, I wonder, geez, where do we go, Here's the question, though. Since Cove works at the tropical place, would we give Cove a break and go to the Chinese restaurant? I think so. I think that we don't want to make Cove have to eat at the place that he works at, right? It was somewhere your family has always enjoyed going, ever since you and Liz were tiny. The long-standing connection made it a fitting location for a final meal out before Liz and Lee set off again. Technically, you were getting ready to go out, though your mind was only on half the task. It was a pleasantly warm evening that kind of epitomized the vacation feeling, and you were in no mood to spoil it by rushing around. We were feeling late. It was hot out, and we were feeling lazy. You checked your phone, starting with a quick glance to confirm the time, followed by a speedily scroll through the latest updates. Doom scrolling. The movie. But what snagged your attention was a little envelope icon telling you there was an email waiting. Your eyes widened as you studied the subject line. It was regarding the details of the trip you'd been planning. Oh. You took a deep breath and read it. You opened it instantly. You hesitated a word about possibility of bad news. Oh. What? I mean, what? Are you assuming that I have to have any kind of plans? She was literally just gonna go. I mean, to be fair, she'd probably have picked out a destination, at least to start. Like somewhere she was gonna... And if she's going to Europe, which I don't know if she's gonna do that or not, she'd have to have some flights and some hostel stuff planned. Take a deep breath and read it. The next step would take nerve. You closed your eyes as you breathed deep, the air slipping through your lips as you opened your eyes once more. You clicked to open the message and waited for it to load, forgetting to breathe in the process. Your eyes darted over the message, rushing past the pleasantries to get at the heart of the matter. The blood pounding in your ears deafened you to the world outside that was contained within these letters. Your heart skidded to a halt as you read your verdict. The arrangements had been confirmed. You were officially going to be able to start traveling. I still don't know. I guess it just means that we got a confirmation of our flight or our hotel or something like that. You were ecstatic. Bouncing the balls of your feet, you pressed your phone to your chest as the excitement bubbled over. You had to tell your family right away. You make an announcement at dinner. You want to keep the news to yourself for now. You want to make an announcement at dinner. You tried your best to finish getting yourself ready for dinner ahead. It was a strain. Your mind had only been half run on the task. Now with the news fresh in your mind, it was a struggle to concentrate on anything else. You kept having to recall your thoughts away from the future and back to the present. So this is kind of silly to me. I guess they have to do it this way so they can set up the moment the same way it always is. But if you were traveling, it's not like going to college where you're waiting to get acceptance letters to the college you picked, right? Which is what this is probably meant for. Like, oh yeah, I need to have this accepted so when I get it, I'm excited and stuff. I guess, but I feel like she would have planned this trip like way in advance. But I guess she's had to save up the money too. So maybe she just got confirmation of some, I don't know. It's just like, what do you actually need confirmation for? Like if I get a hotel or a flight, I get it instantly. It's not like a thing where I have to wait to hear back from the... But I've never traveled abroad before, which is what I'm kind of assuming Marina might be going to do here. I'm thinking she's doing a backpacking trip through Europe or something like that. Time was against you. Mom soon called from downstairs that it was time to go. You had to check the time, sure that you had 10 or at least 5 minutes left. You were wrong. You tore down the stairs, attempting to juggle your composure among the hurried excitement. Your moms, who turned to greet you as you arrived, swapped silent, knowing looks. They couldn't possibly have figured out what happened, or so you had hoped. As your moms, they were pretty good at telling things without being told. You watched them, hunting for any further signs that they were on the case, but none came. For now, it didn't seem like they knew what was happening. Not exactly, at least, but things were definitely happening, and even if they didn't know for sure what you were cooking up, they could smell something in the air. Everyone piled into the car. So this is the mom's car. So the one I was driving and the other one was Cove's car somehow, I think. That's weird. Why would they make that mistake? Or unless the mom's got a new car. This doesn't look like Everyone piled in the car. What was marked as being suitable to hold 5 people. In practice, it meant for a very tight fit. Your mom sitting in the front were fine. But we had to sit in the back with Lee and Liz. You, Liz, and Lee were squished into the back, Lee in the middle, wedged between you and your sister, who are both very tall. But Mom was an excellent timekeeper. Thanks to her efforts, she pulled up near the restaurant on time. The process of getting out of the car was slightly easier than squeezing into it, but much less coordination required to release seat belts and secure them. I'm wondering if this is because we're all so tall and kind of a big person like Liz is. She might even be bigger than Liz. I don't know. He gave Lee a hand as she clambered out from the middle seat, then headed into the building as a group. A waiter greeted you as you entered. Ma let him know how many of you there would be in total. You went to arrange a table that met your needs. He returned promptly to guide you to your seats. I ate at a restaurant yesterday that kind of had similar decor to this, but it wasn't Chinese. You perched comfortably in your chair, your head held aloft as if buoyed by today's good fortune. Your family settled down around you, all cheerful and looking forward to the evening ahead. Your drinks order had just been taken when the Holdens came through the door. They were pointed in your direction, though with Mom waving an arm in the air, it was hardly necessary. Cove and Mr. Holden came to join you at the table. As greetings were being exchanged, Cove took a seat opposite to you and left an empty but unspoken acknowledgement that you and Cove would be wanting to sit together. It had been left empty by unspoken. Mr. Holden sat beside him. Honestly, I don't think she'd need to sit by Cove. She'd probably be more interested in sitting by Lee and Liz. I'm just saying. She's got to have her girls, right?
Hi!
It's great to see you. Glad you could make it. Hello, everyone. You wouldn't believe how hungry I am.
I see.
You came to the right place, then. There was still some laughter, though Liz grinned playfully, shaking her head at Mom's sense of humor. That's not that funny. Growing up, she'd have complained, and Mom would have responded by making another comment. Liz had mellowed over the years, but she still made a show of despairing at Mom's jokes. Her reaction to them had become a joke within its own right. This is where Marina gets her sense of humor from. Surely and truly. Menus were soon passed around, and a temporary hush fell over the table as everyone read. She probably takes after Mom more than Ma, to be fair. It didn't last long, punctured by comments about what people had eaten here before and light chat about what people were considering tonight. Don't you love that small talk about, I know this is good, I'm gonna get this. Once the waiter had disappeared with your orders, Cliff piped up.
Okay.
So I've got some good news. Kyra's making a trip out here tomorrow. Cove nodded, turning from his father to the rest of the table. Yeah, we talked about it and figured it was a good time for everyone.
Very nice.
Everyone reacted positively to the news, though Ma looked wistful.
That's a shame.
If only we'd known. Here we are having a big meal without her. If we'd waited one day, she could have joined us. Mom patted Ma on the back, gently nudging her from the realm of possibilities and what-ifs, and back to the evening that was going so well. Ever the empathy, right? Chin up, Liz and Lee will still be here tomorrow. We'll just have to throw another get-together and keep the fun train chugging along. Ma smiled warmly, taking Ma's hand in hers. That's true. There's plenty to celebrate right now. There will be more good news and good times on the horizon.
Right.
And speaking of, that's not all we've got either. Mr. Holden's eyes were alight as he sat up straight in his chair, face angled toward his son. He barely let a beat go by before nudging Cove with his elbow, pushing him to follow up in the announcement. He was the very picture of a proud papa. Cove shifted from the limelight, ducking his head down and staring at his lap as he spoke. I wonder what Cove is gonna do. Let's see. Well, it's just I've switched over to working full-time instead of only part-time. Plus, I've been looking at apartments. There's a few I can choose from. So, I guess Cove probably does the same thing regardless of how. This is kind of what Cove's going to do. He's going to go into the working world. He's not a college after a right-away sort of person. He flicked his gaze up at everyone around the table, a smile creeping over his face. I'll be pretty busy going forward. Apartments. He was moving. Ko was going to move out of his dad's house after 10 years. He wasn't going to be your neighbor anymore. Yeah, well, we were leaving anyway. Marina was leaving anyway. Like, she planned on it first. Mr. Holden gripped one of Ko's shoulders and he gave a loving shake. His excitement couldn't be contained. Incredible. Ko's actually going to make it to adulthood. It's a miracle. Mr. Holden leaned back in his chair, staring up at the ceiling in mock wonder.
I'm so glad.
I wasn't convinced I'd be able to rear a kid all the way to this point. But thankfully, I lucked out and got the best boy a dad could ask for. Dad? Cove blinked his vision with his hands on the side of his face. Blinkered his vision with the hands on the side of his face, temporarily blocking his father from sight. Blinkered, is that a word? Despite his genuine bashfulness, which left him unable to meet anyone's eyes after all the attention thrust his way, he was happy.
Thanks.
I was really lucky too. You're a good dad. Thanks.
Aw.
Come here. Mr. Holt threw an arm around Ko's neck, pulling him in as close as a hug as the seating allowed. He rubbed his cheek to the top of his son's head while Cove chuckled, accepting the affection with good humor. You tapped on your glass with a fork, something that you'd seen done in movies when people wanted attention. It didn't make quite the same noise, probably because your glass was a tumbler and not a champagne flip, but everyone looked in your direction anyway. I've got something to announce too. Of course.
Yeah.
Lay it on us. Everything's booked and confirmed. I'll be heading out on my travel soon.
You're fantastic.
Good job.
I'm not reading these. I like what they say better. Ma roped you into a hug. Her arms quicker than any lasso. You were thankful you sat next to her. If not, you didn't doubt she would have dived over the table to reach you in her excitement. So, we're next to Cove. We're probably across from Cove, who's next to his dad, and Ma's on my other side, right? That's how this works. And then Mom is probably next to Ma. So, like, Leah's probably next to the Holdens, and then Liz. I would guess. 7 is an awkward number. Hey, let me in on that hug. Your mom's pincered you at a hug, leaning from the chairs to squeeze you in tandem. Liz beamed at you from across the table. Maybe I'm between the moms. Huh. Yeah, probably between the moms, right? Good job, Marina. Lee didn't hide her excitement, clapping her hands in open delight.
Seriously?
That's amazing. You're gonna be amazing. They're making a big deal like we're doing something like going to college. It's not going to college. It's literally just like we're going on a trip. I guess all by herself, and she set it up by herself, but still, they make it sound like it's something we accomplished. It's literally... I mean, I guess she worked hard to afford it this summer. Mr. Holden gave you a thumbs up.
Good kid.
Impressive. You're a good kid. The world's your oyster. How many times has he said good kid? Quite a few. Cove grinned at you from across the table.
Seriously?
It's amazing. It's incredible. You did it. Congratulations, Marina. Yeah, I guess it's more like you managed to save up the money to go on the trip. Thanks. No, seriously, this is really, really big. And you deserve it so much. You looked around the faces of the company here. You've been on this journey with everyone here for years. Seen them falter and grow, and they had watched you grow through the same. Now you were striking out in a new path. Cole was leaving his family home, Liz was heading back to college, and while Lee was starting at hers. You were all heading in different directions, to different destinations, some near and some far, but it wouldn't be long until you were all going your own way. Maybe we'll even visit Baxter in Virginia. Wouldn't that be something? Your heart swelled with pride for everyone. It's bittersweet. The thought troubled you. Your heart swelled with pride for everyone. You held your head aloft as you looked forward. Literally and metaphorically, it was amazing how far you'd all come. Get ready for this moment to be super sappy. Super sappy. It's all like... The whole thing is like this. Oh, everyone was so proud and so happy, and it was going to be such a big transition, and everything is so great, and everyone loves you so, so much. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's not bad. You were sure that you would face each day that came head on, knowing that you had people who cared about you backing you up, even if it was from a distance. You couldn't wait to see what happened next. It's the epitome of this epilogue is the epitome of how cozy this game can be, and how reaffirming. And I hope that everyone's got something out of it. Cove brought some attention to himself with a clearing of his throat and a small interjection. Now I'm remembering. It's interesting that this is going differently because my friend had, you can choose to have a mental breakdown in this part about, like, not having any plans for the future and not knowing what to do and you get up and you leave the restaurant in the middle of dinner, and it's really awkward and upsetting and kind of bad. Yeah, that's right. I was expecting that to happen, and I'm like, wait, no. Marina's not that person. Like, everybody's proud and excited and happy, so it's not going to happen. Cove brought some attention to himself with a curious throw at the small interjection. Okay, so we're still doing this. Cove brought... I'm going to stretch my legs while we're waiting for the food and everything.
Sure.
With a tiny smile, he nodded at his dad, but the lightness in the expression faded when he moved to face you. So you still leave with Cove for a while. Like, if you have the mental breakdown, you get up and you go into your car and, like, cry and, like, are just super upset, and it's completely a different vibe. Want to come? He was attempting to be subtle, but there was very obviously something on his mind. Something he wanted to talk to you about alone. You watched him with concern as you rose from your seat. Yeah, I'll go. Take care. With those parting words, the two of you walked about the place. He was trying to get as far away from everyone else as possible without actually exiting the building. What did you need to say? He hadn't admitted that that's what this was about, but he didn't need to. So these restaurants typically aren't that big, so where do we go? Just over like the bathrooms or something? Cove started pulling on the hem of his shirt. He turned his head back to face you, but it was an awkward moment. I'm kind of wondering, I mean, wouldn't we want to go outside to do this? Also, I really like this painting. This is really pretty. I'm just thinking about it now. I've seen this a few times, but it's a really pretty painting. Well, I wanted to talk to you one-on-one about all this. You know, my work, moving. I mean, it was coming before, but now it's pretty much here. Yeah, it's exciting. Cove stopped picking at his shirt, and he seemed to respond well to that response. He was relieved you weren't upset about it. I'm glad you think so. Then he looked out, his brows furrowed. You saw his hand shift away from his clothes and instead rub his arm. Are you looking forward to it? I am.
I mean...
Well, I'm trying to be. He ducked his head further and you saw his face start to redden. But it's scary. I don't want things to end. Yeah, because we won't be neighbors anymore. We won't be close anymore. Come on, you don't need to worry. You're gonna do great things. So you're saying you're gonna dress up as the future for Halloween? Well, I have to pick this. It's the best slide in the game. This is literally the best joke she's made yet. It's a little conceptual, sure, but you could probably make it work. Definitely not. I'd feel bad going around as something that terrifying. The mood felt a little brighter, though it didn't last. I love how many times they reference Halloween in this game. It's a perfect spooky season game. Cole then turned his head away and wrapped his arms around himself. He felt a sudden chill that definitely wasn't caused by the air conditioner. This game is scary too, because the future is scary, man. I need this right now too. I'm going through a big transition in my life, and I need this right now. It's happening, you know. What I talked about earlier this summer. The world isn't going to keep us together anymore. It'll all be up to us now. But everything is still going to be okay, right? We're still going to be okay? You're as worried as he was. You got mad at him for this. You kept calm. You understood his concern. It was definitely hard to imagine what would happen. However, you didn't let yourself get upset. Like, Marina's not that upset. She's excited about the future. She's optimistic. She's that kind of person, right? She's that kind of person. So she's always been that kind of person. Like, she's kind of grown into... I hope you've enjoyed going on the journey of Marina Foster with me, just to see her grow as a character. Because I've been really trying to do that, and it's really felt that way. This game is cool. I love this game. I want it to be forever. I'll make sure we always are. Yeah. You were going to keep things up. There was no way you were ever going to let this fall down the wayside. Yeah, she's going to keep up this friendship with Cove. I like that face better, if we have to use one of these. Cove laughed with a delicate smile on his face. Okay, you win. I wanted to prepare myself for the horrifying unknown, but you're kind of giving me no choice but to be optimistic here. Yeah, exactly. His eyes sparkled with mischief. Marina's that one friend, right? Strong armor. That's right. Oh no, I can't believe you're being forced to have hope about life. I'm happy to hear that. You're welcome. Oh no, I can't believe you're being forced to have hope about life. His lips twitched up at your sarcasm.
Right?
I know. How am I going to get past this? He gave a small smile and then stopped joking around. Thanks for listening to me, Marina. It helped. He felt pleased as anxiety as eased after talking it out. I think it's time to rejoin the party. Do you feel like heading back?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot what we were doing here. That'd probably be good. With matching smiles, you both reclaimed your seats at the table. Both of you felt lighter at it shows. See, this feels more reasonable. When you go and have the mental breakdown in your car, you're gone. I imagine your character being gone for like an hour, while everybody's just awkwardly sitting around at the table waiting for you to come back. This was like a 10-minute conversation. You seem happy. What was that? I wonder if you weren't dating him yet, if this is where you could ask each other out and like make a vow to stay together or something like that, or even propose to get married or something like that. Yeah, it looked like you were having quite the conversation over there. It's neighbor stuff. Sorry. I used to be your neighbor. He waved off the questions and you didn't ask for any explanation. They're all acting like we got together here. Frickin' cat that swallowed the cream here. I will never stop calling her that. They all seemed curious, but caught that Cove wanted to stay between the two of you and let it drop. Things relaxed, and you took a sip of your drink. Lee idly tapped the table and got your attention. I'm so excited to try this place. She's never been here before. I haven't been here in a long time. I hope it's as good as I remember. All the restaurants in this area are pretty top-notch, in my humble opinion. Yeah, how many times have you gone to the frickin' tropical restaurant to see your son at work? Probably a lot. We'll see. It was a challenge issued. Liz carried herself like some sort of professional food critic, and Mom snorted. Tough crowd. Jeez, Liz. Ma giggled and chimed in as well, much to Liz's embarrassment. That's right, Lizzie. Jeez. Oh, jeez, Louise. Jeez. Rude. Hey, be nice to Liz. You shook your head at all the silliness. Hey, be nice to Liz. She doesn't even say it that much anymore. Everyone burst out laughing, besides Liz, of course. She smirked. No one could ever accuse your family of being no fun. Night. Boom! Night. Night fell soon and everyone finished their meals, and before you knew it, you were standing in the parking lot saying goodbyes and packing up the cars to go home. Missed opportunity to use the parking lot. Just saying. Why the street instead of the parking lot? After the last of the chores were done, your family spent more time together. Especially if they were just going to transition. That would have been a perfect time to use the parking lot. Lord knows they need to use that more. They don't use it enough. The rest of the night felt like it was going by in the blink of an eye, and somehow Time Kid retired to your room to sleep. All these just like one-scene transitions. You pulled your cover up under your chin and settled down for the night, getting warm and cozy. As your head sank into your pillow and you closed your eyes, your mind drifted back to everything that happened that day. You could see it all now behind your eyelids, as though you were experiencing it all over again. And then your image of Cove popped into your head, and you smiled softly to yourself. You decided to send him a text to chat. You texted him to come over. You wanted to sneak out to his room. You were feeling tired, so you snuggled deeper into your bed. Huh. I wonder if this is a moment where you could have sex. You know what? I kind of want to, because he's always doing this to us, right? I think we're going to pay him back. If Cove could do it, then you couldn't see why you shouldn't be allowed to. You made up your mind. As quietly as you could manage, you put out your shoes and slipped out your room, closing the door behind you softly. Oh, come on, Marina! Climb out the frickin' window! Heading slowly down, you took care not to make the floor creak, especially the boards right by the bathroom. Those definitely squeaked. The stillness of the night made it even the slightest sound seem so much louder for your ears, and you were very aware your mom's sleeping nearby. I mean, so, like, this is also on character for her to go and sneak out, right? Upon reaching the bottom, you tiptoed towards the front door. Slipping out in the crisp night air, you shut the door and took a relieving breath. Excitement rising, you dashed across the street towards Cove's house. The road was too surreal at this hour, familiar and yet strange. It might have been eerie at another time, but with how eager you were, you hardly cared. You attempted to find... It would have been a great time to reference the time we looked for ghosts, but they're not going to do that. You attempted to find your way from the normal footpath to the side of the condo, but your limited light was making it difficult. You knew for sure which window was Cove's, and lucky for you it was on the first floor. Unlike Cove, you wouldn't have to do any building scaling. Hey, we're getting some confirmation of Cove's like house layout. I still don't know if he has a second floor. I'm guessing he must. All you need to do is make it safely over to the fence and past the bushes without being caught or injured. So I'm guessing they all must have 2 floors, right? Especially because I'm pretty sure this is Cove's house that we're looking across at. Like I determined that this is across the street. Sneaking closer, you glanced over the hedges towards Cole's bedroom window, finding it cracked open. Perfect, you wouldn't have to knock and worry about it not answering. Hoisting yourself up with ease, you cleared the fence and avoided the shrubs, then darted over the window. You buzzed with a nervous excitement as you approached it in the dark, having successfully made it all the way here unseen. Lifting the window up so it was fully open, you pushed yourself halfway through, your legs dangling to the underbrush below. It was a little awkward as a small shelf was right in the way. You had to go take care not to knock over a couple of plants, but you made it through with minimal noise. Once safely inside, you dusted yourself off and turned back to close the window gently, with only a soft glow of moonlight and Cole's fish tank there to see the way. Yeah, it's crazy that we are doing this. I can't believe we're actually doing this. You gave a small wave to your favorite fishes, the one you named and the one you'd given Cove as a gift. Both looked to be doing good. Oh wow, those fish lived 5 years. Cove does a good job keeping track of his tank. That's 5 years on. That's a long time for a fish in a tank. Believe me, I think they can have long lives, but I've very seldom had fish that have lived that long in all my years of having fish. Like, growing up, pretty much my whole life we had fish, and then as an adult I had fish for quite a few years in my starting out days, until I decided it was too much work to keep fish. Although I do have, that said, I have a really nice place where I could keep a fish tank right now if I wanted to. Then straining your eyes through the dark, you crept towards Cove's bed, barely making out the sleeping figure beneath the covers. By the sounds of his soft breathing, you could tell that he hadn't heard you come in, and a small smile tugged at your lips. You startled him with a loud noise, you poked him awake, and gently nudged him. You whispered his name, you sat down on top of him, you left him to sleep and sat beside him. I'm gonna wake him up. You whispered his name. You sat down on top of him. Chuckling quietly to yourself, you crawled over the bed towards him and set yourself right on his chest. Why his chest? More like his legs. His eyes snapped open and he attempted to bolt upright but couldn't, move an inch with your weight on top of him. His head flopped back down with a huff. I know I said something earlier about why do you sit in people's chests, but this is more like a funny thing. You continued smiling down at him and he looked back up at you, completely lost.
What?
What's going on? With his thoughts sorted just a bit more, his mouth turned down and apart, his eyebrows dipped in the middle. I love this frickin' shirt. Have we commented on his frickin' like birds of frickin' paradise frickin' looking thing? Holy sh... My Halloween decorations are falling. No, I have to fix this after I'm done, I guess. Can you get off me? Okay. Now that you had his attention, you scrambled off the bed and stood beside him. Cove took in a deep breath, clearly not happy with your random wake-up call, rolled over and turned his back to you. You snickered quietly to yourself as he sat there. He could figure it out on his own, and after a few more seconds, he did. Wait, Marina? Yes, do you need something? He shuffled over under the covers and sat up to stare at you in alarm.
What?
Why are you in my room? What happened? A smile slipped on your face as you finally registered your presence for real. I don't want to be alone. I was bored. You hugged him. I was bored. He gave you a crooked smile as if to say, really, Marina? I should have known you'd do this one of these days. It's only fair. You let out a breath, feeling relieved that he didn't seem bothered by it. In fact, it felt kind of good. You thought maybe this enthusiasm was why Cove did it so often. He pushed himself up fully, swinging his legs over the side of the bed, leaving a spot for you beside him. You sat beside him happily, waiting for him to speak first. You can stay as long as you want. Really? Yeah, really. I'll go home soon. I don't have to stay. How long do you want me to stay? Can I stay the whole night? Oh, so I'm kind of driving towards something here, I think. So let's ask if we can stay the whole night.
Of course.
He smiled, feeling relieved he'd agreed, and grinned back. You could always count on him. I've secretly slept over at your room before. It's fair you get to do it too. He snickered, feeling pleased with your decision to do this. Okay. Should we tease him about this? Well, it looks like he might be getting the floor yet again.
I guess.
Guess so, fine. Cover just... okay. Yeah, no, she actually wouldn't. I wanted to see what he would say to that, but... okay. There's no way I'm letting you take the floor this time. Here we go again. You rolled your eyes back and let out a soft laugh, which Cove returned as he rubbed at the back of his neck. Yeah, I want to see. Because I have expressed earlier that she's aromantic, not asexual. And if she's not going to see Cove again, there goes my stuff. I'm actually kind of wondering if maybe Marina would try to, like, do this. Heat of the moment kind of stuff. It probably isn't going to happen because we're not, like, romantic or anything, and it probably wouldn't do that, but wouldn't it be amusing to see if she, like, just tried to get with Cove? Since she's leaving now? Hormones and all that? We should just share the bed. He thought about it a moment before suddenly throwing his hands in the air. Why not? We might as well make the most of the sleepover. Holy shit! He's gonna do it. Because she was implying what she was implying. Yes. You bounced along the balls of your feet and he smiled at you fondly. After all, you'd really wanted to see Cove, and knowing that he would be right there next to you made it feel like a real sleepover. I never really like being the one who gets to bed when someone else isn't, but it compromises work too. You gave him a triumphant nod as the two of you got under the covers, laughing and joking around before remembering that you should be keeping the noise down. I know this is a little out of character with how I've been playing the character, but I'm playing this off as, like, this is one of her last nights seeing this man for maybe ever. And this is her best friend. And she's going for it. Resting at your side, you flipped up the pillow and faced Cove, who did the same. He sighed contentedly as he settled in and pulled the covers up over his shoulders. Because we're both, like, freaking tall people in a small bed, right? Yeah, this is definitely better than the floor. You scoffed quietly, hardly believing you'd come to that conclusion after everything. But that was Cove Holden for you. If nothing else, this is the culmination of Cove not sleeping on the floor anymore. He flicked the tip of his nose and nudged him playfully. You're so dumb sometimes. You shook your head at him. You nudged him playfully. He pulled a funny face at you in return, which had you laughing all over again. Your neighbor looked at you happily. He was honestly content. The night stretched on, you continued giggling and chatting, turning out absolutely everything except this room, and each other. You felt so light again, like you were 8 instead of 18, and the only big decisions you had to make were what you were going to have for breakfast in the morning. Soon enough, your eyes began to grow heavy, and the conversation slowly came to an end as you both fell into restful sleep side by side. So yeah, it doesn't imply any funny business went on, but this is still a pretty intimate moment for frickin' Marina. Like, she's never been one for intimacy with anyone, and this is, yeah, she did this. The next morning you woke slowly from a comfortable dream. With a small stretch, you opened your eyes fully to the sun shining in through the window. Shuffling on your side, you noticed Cove still beside you in the bed, sleeping soundly. You smiled, remembering the prior night. I'm guessing you probably have to be dating Cove in order to, like, do that. If it was gonna... I would imagine if it was gonna happen at all, this would be when it happens. This or, like, the wedding, maybe. It had just been fun getting to spend the whole night together. You felt so lucky to have Cove as a friend. Then a loud noise suddenly startled you, and you snapped towards the source of the sound. Oh! Cliff is just gonna come in and find us like this. It was the door opening abruptly, and in the frame stood Mr. Holden smiling brightly. He hadn't seemed to have noticed you straight away. Get your butt out of bed, sport. Mom's here. Oh. All of a sudden, the two of you made eye contact, and he froze where he stood, the smile slowly slipping from his face. What if we'd actually done it? Well, that's not what I usually walk into. I clearly should have knocked this morning. Your mouth wordlessly fell open. Oh shit. Of course Cove would get away with sneaking into my room and I'll be the one who gets caught. Good morning, Mr. Holden. You pulled the blanket up your head. Oh shit is a great response to this. Good morning, Mr. Holden. Morning, Marina. Cove blinked his eyes tiredly and mumbled something incoherent before turning towards the door. Both you and Mr. Holden stared at him for a few moments, neither knowing what to say or do. Cove, who continued looking at his dad dozily, was obviously having a hard time trying to process the situation. Then his eyes widened. Dad? Cove scrambled on the bed in an attempt to get to his feet, pushing the covers back off both of you. Forgetting there was an overhanging ceiling above that shot upwards, that hit his head in the wood. He flopped back down on his pillow, pressing a hand to his head and groaning loudly. You laughed at the scene, gasped in horror. Cove! You could only share Cove. She wouldn't be this heartless. He reached out towards him instinctively. Cove, buddy, you alright over there? Mr. Holden stepped further into the room, his eyebrows furrowed in concern. He bent down towards his son.
Yes.
Please just go! Okay, I'll leave. Cliff held his hands in front of him in a calming gesture, even though Cove could see and couldn't see it. Kyra's awaiting. With that, he stepped back out of the room, giving the two of you one last look before pulling the door shut behind him. Cove rubbed at his face before dropping his head into his hands and rumbling between his fingers.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. This is the lock of shame, man. You pat him like, well, that was fun. You cover your face with, that was so awkward. That was fun. You said nothing. You got the impression he didn't appreciate your comment. With a heavy sigh, Cole forced himself to sit up again. He frowned hard and staring at over the closed door. Sorry. I guess we can just hide in here. Can't just hide in here now. He gave you a sidelong glance, and despite the displeasure at the situation, a smile perked his lips.
It's nice.
It's too bad. It had been really nice. I wish we could stay in here all day. You found yourself smiling along with him. The two of you took a few minutes to get up properly and get yourselves as ready as possible. Cole put his glasses back on before heading out to see Kyra. Kyra was waiting patiently in the living room. She was in high spirits with her eyes set in the hallway. Her amused smile only widened when you and Cole froze. It didn't take long for the realization to sink in that the scene must have been loud enough for her to hear even from here. Cove tried to look unimpressed, eyes narrowing over Kyra's smug delight, though his face was already turning red and his mom hadn't even said anything yet. Yeah, we get caught by everybody. He squared his shoulders, lifting his head and strode forward.
Hey.
Hi, baby, and hello to you too, Marina. Her tone cracked up in her greeting, and then she just gave in and laughed, unable to keep any of it in. Cole frowned at that, and his eyebrows furrowed. Sorry for the interruption. I didn't know you already had guests. His frown wobbled as he became even more embarrassed by this moment. He couldn't muster up any words to defend himself. It's not like anyone's surprised by this. I'm sorry. Hi, you didn't have to yeah, probably just hi. She's not gonna be like... This is... yeah, I don't know. She's not gonna go that far, and she wouldn't... Hi. As Kyra slowly composed herself again, you raised a hand to wave. All you could do was really do a smile. Cove was still unable to say anything, other than his teeth biting into the inside of his cheek. He stood there frozen. Kyra studied you both for a moment. Again, I think Marina finds this more funny than anything. Especially because she's the initiator here. But she's trying to be sensitive to Cove and, you know...
It's alright.
My not-so-little mister is spreading his wings. I can't complain about that. Yeah, they are definitely talking. The way they're acting is like we really did it. Which is kind of what, like I said, in my mind, that's what Marina had in mind when she came over here. It was like, yeah, let's do it. She lightly tapped the tip of his nose. That got a tiny smile out of Cove, despite being much taller than Kyra at this point. He still seemed like a little kid in front of her. You released the air you were holding in your lungs, and then Kyra's gaze locked onto you. You know, we were just about to go over to see Pam and Noelle. And the two of you, are you two coming? Noelle? They called her that. Wow. That's the first time I've ever seen Noladi's name that before. So that was my aunt and uncle's last name. That's kind of interesting. Sure, I should definitely go back there. Cove chuckled at your phrasing. He stretched his arms for a moment and yawned, trying to physically shake off what happened.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's keep this gravy train rolling.
Great.
Let's do it. It was then when you noticed Mr. Holden standing on the other side of the room. You figured he must have been trying to create some space for everyone during the last conversation. You could tell he felt a bit awkward, but he tried smiling reassuringly as he scratched the back of his neck. His attention went to Cove. But do you want to get changed first? Cove looked out at his pajamas for a moment. He shook his head. No, we don't have to wait for that. Are you sure? It's only a trip across the street.
Don't worry about it.
I'm right. Besides, Marina's going in pajamas too. Fair point. Cove then leaned closer to you. He grumbled quietly. And your moms are gonna figure out what happened anyway, so... yeah.
Come on.
Away we go. So, the moms, she's probably way more worried about what the moms are gonna say. Oh boy. With that decided, the four of you headed across the street to your house. It felt strange waiting there when Mr. Holden knocked on the door.
Hello.
Hi there. Mom answered the door and put her expression brightened, even more seeing Kyra there. Then she moved to put Kyra into a hug when her gaze fell on you. Marina? Hi, Mom.
Huh?
When did you get out there? Why are you still in your pajamas? Mom's eyebrows raised as she gave you a deep, examining stare. Meanwhile, you and Cove stared a slow side glance with each other. Before you could answer, more heads popped into view. Oh god, Liz. Liz is gonna... Oh no, Liz is here too. Oh, more heads popped into view around the doorway. Ma, Liz, and Lee were all chuckling. To be honest, I always assumed Cove had been the one sneaking around. Yeah, he sure has been. They knew. They knew the entire time that this was going on. Her eyes sparkled with amusement. You had to look away. You noticed Cove's face is burning red again. It was a solid theory, Lottie. Most likely they've both been breaking and entering. I wouldn't pass my baby. He takes after his parents.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I can't believe my Marina is getting up to all that mischief, too. Mortified, Cove looked like he wanted to disappear, while the adults chuckled in disgust what you and him may or may not have done. Fortunately, they left the conversation there. Oh, geez. Enough of standing around there. Come on in. So they just make light of it instead of, like, being like, oh my god, I can't believe you did that. Mom moved around aside to usher the group in and guided them to the living room. Before anyone could get settled in, Mom spoke up. You're all welcome to stay for breakfast. We have some great spices and stuff for the farmer's market. Hey! Hey, they remember we did that.
Of course.
Yes, we'd be thrilled to host you. There were eager nods from Mr. Holden and Kyra, but Cole looked around the room filled with familiar faces before speaking up. Maybe instead of staying here, why don't we go to the beach? A scenic picnic, eh? Mr. Holden crossed his arms together and contemplated that happily. Excited, Kyra clapped her hands together.
Yeah.
Oh, we could really make a day out of it. Might as well enjoy the ocean while we can. That sounds lovely, Cove. Everyone else put in their own agreement with Cove's suggestion. Before long, both families dispersed, getting everything ready. Sandwiches had to be made, water, sunscreen, towels, and more needed to be gathered and packed. Plus, you and Cove both took some time to get dressed for the day. An hour later, both you and your family and Cove's were walking down the old path to the beach. We're going to leave off there. There's a lot more fun to be had with this moment. And we get to see our good buddy Baxter Ward before the end of the summer as well. So we'll see you then. Hope you're having fun.